Our group is interested in advocating for policy and regulatory reform that will create healthy environments to support healthy and active lifestyles. So things like reducing junk food marketing to children, improved labelling on the front of packaged food, that kind of thing.
Now, what is it about Coca Cola's advertising campaign that's bothering you?
Well, we're concerned that the actions that they're promoting are not going to be effective in addressing overweight and obesity. We know that.
Now, what are those actions?
So they are going to put kilojoules on the front of vending machines. They said they're not going to advertise to children under 12. They're not going to put their products in schools, but we know that there's a lot of sponsorship of sport, children's sport in particularly, by these products. A lot of schools do have sugary drinks in their canteens, despite the fact that they're guidelines. And we know we've seen a huge campaign with the Share a Coke campaign that's been recently run, which has seen a huge uptake in Coca Cola by kids who'd never tried it before and really increased their sales. And that's a huge concern when sugary drinks, you know, a can of Coke has 10 teaspoons of sugar, and we know that it contributes to overweight and obesity, not just in adults but in children as well.
Going through a couple of those measures, firstly the move to put kilojoules on vending machines, that's surely a good thing, isn't it? Any company should be commended for that.
It is a good thing, but it's not enough. We know information is a very, very weak way of making a difference. There's a lot of information out there. It's not really working very well.
But if I went to a vending machine and I saw, you know, the can of Coke has, you know, so many cups of sugar or so many kilojoules versus a fruit juice, which can be just as bad, obviously, but water or something, I'd have second thoughts.
Yeah, look, I think it is a step forward. There's already that information on the cans, so that's not a new initiative to put it on the cans, which is another thing they've announced. And we don't think that's enough to make a difference. And while they're heavily promoting these sugary products to kids in particular, that's the kind of restrictions that we need to see, controls on that.
It's curious to hear you say that information is a very weak tool to use. An organisation like yours relies on information. Well, you give out information that you like to have believed.
Not necessarily. We're asking...
You don't want your information believed.
Well, we're not... as far what I'm talking about is information for consumers. We don't give information out to consumers. We talk about what evidence base will... So we're talking about policy change. But that's what we'd like to see.
Let's get down to tin tacks. There's really nothing Coca Cola could do that would make you feel comfortable with it as a company, is there? It sells a product that you don't like and you're never going to like.
That's not the case. I mean, Coca Cola has a huge range of products. We'd be very happy to see their water sponsoring children's sport. We would.
I know, but that's just water. That's what I'm saying. They're manufactured products. Nothing about their manufactured products is ever going to please you.
Well, we're calling for changes in their manufactured products. We're saying they have, you know, diet products. That's fine. We're not concerned about diet products. We're not concerned about their water. We're calling for them to reduce the sugar in their high kilojoule products. So we are calling for them to make changes. They have a product portfolio. They're sponsoring bicycles with red and white branding. Why not put blue and white on it and promote Mount Franklin? Why are they promoting Coca Cola?
So what are the changes you'd like to see them make then that would please you?
So we'd like to stop supplying high sugar drinks in schools, high schools and primary schools. We know a lot of schools have these drinks. We'd like to see them get out of junior sport, in particular with their products, including their sports drinks, and they're promoting heavily to children high energy caffeinated drinks as well. So we'd like to see controls around that. We'd like to see them stop advertising and high-rating children's programs and through Facebook and the internet, which is how they ran the Share a Coke campaign, incredibly successful and now going off to the US. Those kinds of changes.
And I think we can bring up some of Coca Cola's response to, you wrote a letter, the Obesity Coalition, to Coca Cola. This, I think, is some of the company's response. And they're basically going through the measures there, increasing availability of smaller portion sizes, offering more low kilojoule beverage options. And also, that letter goes on to talk about this bicycle initiative, which surely is a fantastic move, no matter what livery, what colours they paint the bike. Well,
I mean, I think it's interesting who they're targeting. They're targeting teens, and they're probably spending much more...
But teens get obese too.
Well, yes, but they're targeting teens. They're ingratiating themselves with teens. They're not targeting, you know...
But it's a good thing. You've got to concede.
At what cost?
Any move.
I mean, at what cost? And they're spending more money advertising this initiative than they have probably done in investing in it.
You can't even say a move to get more kids on bikes to bring their weight down is a good thing.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying we're saying don't do it with Coca Cola branding. And it's not just the Obesity Policy Coalition who's got behind this. I mean, this is a number of public health groups and academics, including those involved in physical activity. We don't want to see high kilojoule beverage branding on these bikes, on these initiatives. Take it away. Use something else. They have other products without sugar in them altogether.